So, I wish I didn't start with so all the time. I'm, as you can see, riding my horse. Although it's kind of recommended that we don't ride at the moment, I was a little bit worried because I noticed the other day that Max was starting to stand really strangely, like a laminitic horse stands. He was standing with 2 feet out in front, he was standing with 1 foot out in front. Now he is quite a lazy horse, and he will just kind of stop whenever he feels like it in the field. You know, he'll just wander around and then he'll just stop for a bit. So he doesn't really care where his legs are when he stops. But something in the back of my mind was kind of going, you know, if you let horses down too quickly, isn't that a trigger for laminitis as well? And although I've been doing some groundwork with him, I've been doing some lunging, I've been doing groundwork playing with obstacles and things like that, and generally getting his behaviour a little more acceptable on the ground, it did occur to me that actually maybe he does need to be ridden. I can't have him being laminitic. That would just be awful. So I'm kind of thinking, that's a different shot, kind of thinking I need to ride him. So I have, this morning I've just been doing some walk stuff because I haven't ridden him for like, about 2 weeks. So we've just been doing some working walk. And I thought I'd just film a little bit of that for you, so you can see the kind of thing that we do in walk. Basically what we'll be doing, and a little bit of trot as well, because we did some leg yield too. So squircles, which we do when we're warming up, which is basically a square circle where we have to concentrate really hard on the corners of the circle. So we're almost getting a quarter turn, pirouette type thing, which kind of eventually will go to a pirouette, so I'm told. So we do that when we're warming up. Anything when I'm warming up, just to get him listening to me, because he doesn't always respond very well initially. Once he's with me, he's absolutely fine, but it does take a while sometimes for him to understand that actually, yes, we're working today, and yes, you need to listen. So a little bit of squircles, a little bit of leg yield, and woo. If you can get somebody to video you or video yourself when you're riding, I think it's really useful. I've done it before, and I did it on this. Doing it now, because it's really surprising how things don't look how you think they look. I wasn't very happy with my first set of squircles, which we're doing here. Wasn't very happy at all. The idea of these is that the horse's front feet, from what I understand, do more than the back. We should make a definite turn with those front feet, and then the back feet follow on. But it looks as though, to me, he's just ambling round the corners, and I didn't realise that at the time. And even though I said, you won't hear it, but I said after the first set, when we've done a squircle on each rein, I said that was awful, I'm going to do it again. And I did it again, and to be honest, I was happier with the second time, but it looked worse than the first time. So I think it's really interesting, as I say, if you can get somebody to video you, watch it back, remember how it felt when you were riding it, and if it felt good, try and remember that feeling, and if it felt bad, think, what can I do to make it better? The same applies to the leg yield. I think the problem is that we can't see the back of the horse when we're riding. All we see is from what's in front of us, from the saddle up, unless you're doing something where you can actually sort of see the quarters out the corner of your eye. But if you're doing, say, a leg yield, you can't see the back of the horse, and you shouldn't be able to, because he should be absolutely straight. So I kind of was riding this thinking, oh gosh, this feels actually quite nice. But when you see it on the video, you can see he's really not straight. There might be some crossing of the legs going on occasionally somewhere, but generally he's like a freaking banana, or he looks as though he's just going across the diagonal. It doesn't look as though there's any leg yield going on. I guess you have to remember the level of training that we're at. We're just really doing elementary. He can knock out a fairly good novice test, but I'd say he's like me. He's in the 60s. Whatever level we compete at, we seem to get 60-something%, just like I'm 60-something years of age. So yeah, we're he's doing all right at elementary, but he's obviously not doing what he should be. So we are, I would say, just starting out at that level. We're not even thinking about training at the level above, which is what you're supposed to do at home. But so we're trying to perfect things like leg yield, things like medium canter, simple changes, all that kind of thing. So Max is being very typically Max, in as much as he's like, I don't remember any of this stuff. I don't remember this. We've never done this before, because he hasn't been ridden for a while. That's the way he is. So it takes a long time to get him back. It's really frustrating when he was going so well, and then you're back to square one and he's just completely dead to your leg. He's unresponsive. I haven't worked him hard, and you can see how he's struggling on this ground. Normally we go to a menage with a nice surface, which is wonderful, but of course we can't do that now. So I've tried to make this arena as flat as I can. We had it rolled and everything, but it's still not ideal, and he's struggling with it a little bit. But I'm sure he'll get used to it. Maybe if I make another video in the not too distant future, when I've had a few more goes, maybe we'll be able to see the difference. Let's hope so, because otherwise it's flipping hard work. Riding's all done, and okay, there we go. The more I think about it, the more I'm convinced I'm right, because I've had Max 7 years and he's never had a holiday as such, because I don't really do holidays. If I go away somewhere, invariably it's with horses and we take them with us. What are you doing down there? So he comes with me, so he's never been sort of let down out of work. He works, normally he'd be in work 5 times a week, and that's like everything. That would include any competitions, that would include hacking, schooling, Max, all that kind of thing. And we're just not doing it up here, Max. We're just not doing it at the moment. Because it's kind of recommended that you don't. So I am convinced more and more that what I'm thinking is right, and that horses who are let down too quickly can develop laminitis. I'm going to go home now and look it up, but I'm sure it's right. And if it is the case, and from what he was showing me in the week, I'm definitely going to have to keep riding him. And I can, you know, you can do so much on the ground, but it's really not the same as being on them. And if I can justify my riding in that way, then that's what I'll do. I didn't want to ride. I kind of accepted that, no, we can't ride, let's leave it, things will get better soon. But actually, if it's not going to be good for him, then I can't do it. I'm going to have to ride him. And it's now chewing my leg. Do I taste nice? So yeah, who knows, I'll go home and look it up. See you next time.